Good evening, dear friends. This is Deep Talks Virtual Reality on Love and Life. Today evening, we are welcoming a beautiful spiritual soul from across the globe, United Kingdom. And we are very happy to have her on board Deep Talks. Amongst her, we had Lindsay King, and I'm so glad that from her school, Accelerate Your Life, she is here to talk something that's going to resonate with many spiritual souls across the globe and the ones who are watching the show and the ones who will be watching the show later on. I'm so glad that being a COVID warrior, I held the show while I was having COVID and during COVID. And not only that, being a courageous and confident lady, I believe that if you have the grits, if you have a positive mindset, you'll always win the war. War of not falling sick, war of if something is negative, you can still stick to a ray of hope. And that is what we are working on. The spiritual energies are taking a great height in this season, and we are hoping that we all together make this nation a better place to stay fit and also improvise ourselves while on the journey of life. And we are having Srishti with us, a great communication connect, who's going to curtain raise this deep talks and make a better living for all of us, and introduce Jemma Hague so that you all know who she is and where she is coming from. So let's have Srishti. Welcome, Srishti, and welcome, Jemma.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening and welcome everyone. It is my honor to introduce to you our guest for tonight, Miss Jemma Hague. Healing the world to enlightenment, rebecoming the Christ consciousness, each and every single person on this planet. That's Gemma and her core being in a nutshell. She is 36 and has a daughter who is 16 and two sons, 13 and 4. She also has three dogs, two rabbits, two ponies, a cat, and a bearded dragon. She has always been everyone's life coach since being at school, from family to friends to strangers in the street. She started noticing a pattern of people improving and that she was able to talk to any type of character and sit balanced without judgment. And she's all the layers that need untangling and cleaning out the tar from the areas in the neuropathy system that need rewiring, areas of the body affected by damaged cellular structure. She'd see images from their lives and they were feeling about silently or talking. So, this helped her to start her journey of getting into her own alignment and developing herself first as an individual who, under a lot of inner contentment, was still very damaged, and her outer world reflected this. And this is her journey right now, being in alignment, in flow, and in ease of action and inspiration, spreading her mission by any communication media, type, and style of soul aligned services. Her coaching is healing motivated, and in order to heal fully, personal development and spiritual mentorship is needed to understand vibrational frequencies and the effect on organic matter such as the cells in our human bodies, our diet, the vibration of our diet, our mindset, and vibrations created. She is writing online courses presently, and as she found that the first one she wrote, being over 17,000 words, will now be a book that she uses material from for courses. She is interviewing soul aligned people who provide amazing inspirational life stories to open up people's eyes to what spirituality actually is and not the common misconception it has, and how it merges naturally with the physical arts. She got interested in freelance article writing and short stories for magazines. She has always been a energy healer, and it is something that is just integral inside of her. She is an animal communicator and a healer through and through. I would now like to request Gurleen ma'am to host ma'am, and I shall take a leave to be back in monitoring the conversation as a communication connect.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much.
Thanks a lot. And I welcome Gemma. Gemma, it's wonderful to have you on this show, Deep Talks. It is holding a prestigious thought that being a spiritual healer and a life coach, you are here with us to sprinkle a ray of hope for all those souls who are thinking that they cannot live with more positivity. So, what made you join this profession of energy healing? I would love to ask, and the audience would love to know.
Well, thank you so much for my introduction and for having me. Um, Energy healing. Sorry, could you just repeat the question because the line went
Yes,
a bit funny then?
yes. Yeah, is something what inspired you to join this profession, energy healing?
Okay. Since being a very young child, I was aware of our part in nature and
Yeah,
how we're all connected. Okay, every single one of us. And I was just when you find a little insect or a bird and they're hurt, the first thing you want to do is to heal them. That's always been my first go-to.
yeah,
So it was just a natural integration. I didn't know what it was when I was younger. It was just normal.
yeah.
But then a lot of things are normal to me that I'm still finding out are not normal to other people.
True,
So yeah,
true.
yeah. And it just grew. When I was in my teens, I started practicing energy healing with my hands off, hands on technique. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. Um, I did it with animals as well. I used
What?
to have a horse. Yeah. I didn't realize I could. So,
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's just beautiful. So, out of your experiences as a child, you were interested in animals and healings or some kind of energy healings. So, how is energy healing different from other healings that we hear about, like Reiki and crystal healings and the color therapies that people talk about? We love to know, and the audience would love to know how energy healing impacts the human mindset.
okay. In essence, there's no difference. They're all the same. It's all the same energy. But what I will say is when I've read upon specific types of healing, like with crystals, Heka, Reiki, I mean, I do have my Reiki too,
Yeah.
but whenever I've gone to read a book, I'm already practicing. Every style of healing, it's innate. It's who we are. Crystals, we have crystal grids in the earth. We have crystal elements in our bodies. We have crystal
True.
grids up in the universe, and we all align. So,
Yes. Yeah.
into
So do you think, Gemma, that crystal healing and energy healing helps in relationships and all spheres of life, like professional and personal? Do you think, like I always believe in spiritual healing, it does work. Energy healing does work a lot because during this pandemic, we all are suffering. So do you think the delight of sharing the healing, long distance healing works in professional and personal relationships?
it does help. Personally, I like to carry crystals in my pocket. My crystals are amethyst and rose quartz. So if
Great.
I feel I need extra, I will make sure they're on me.
Oh,
Because they vibrate in our person, they hit our
yeah.
cells, and so our cells correlate to the vibration of the crystals. So
True.
when we're around people, these
Yeah.
vibrations hit into their cells, and our energies hit each other. So
Yeah.
if your energy, the more ambient it can be, is going to
Yes.
affect other people positively as well. So it's not just us we're helping; it's the people around us.
Yeah. So how can you guide us about keeping a crystal like, okay, if I'm running a counseling office, I would ask personally, if someone comes and they are with deep grief, like trauma or something, then how can you balance that energy so that it doesn't counter transfer onto yourself? So that you carry a crystal. So, what kind of crystals do you keep our audience? And I would personally love to know. It could be a great help to the people who will be watching this.
Okay, first, crystals are very personal to each person. So we
Okay.
choose our crystals, they choose us. So we're best to have an array of crystals in front of us and just put our hands over, close our eyes, feel where the energy, there's an energy that you feel here, it hits in your heart and it shows into your mind. Okay, so
Okay.
with that, you can then pick a crystal. but I would recommend people learn how to protect themselves energetically.
Yeah.
Like a grounding protection, these are really, really great things. They elevate our vibration. They cause massive energy as a barrier for protection from other energies for us. So the higher we can raise our vibration as well, then people's energy can't affect us. It can't
True.
get through. And what does, we can easily release. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. That means crystals help a lot. So one can keep the crystals in the office and help themselves erase themselves of all the negative thoughts that can come by and seep into the mind. So basically, even it must be helping those people who are having depression. Gemma, if I may know that you must have had some kind of an experience where someone might have shared their grief with you and you might have helped somebody. So, how was it? And could you share an experience of yourself with a client of yours that could have shared something with you? And it would be delightful to understand the process of how the thoughts shift.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. When I was 21, I was out with a friend, and
Wow.
at the end of the night, we were outside of a chip shop, and there was some men outside, very drunk. But one of them
Yeah.
came to me and begged me to speak to his friend because his friend was suicidal, and he was in his
Oh,
30s. This man. It was very heavy, so I went
okay.
over. When we allow ourselves to step back and feel from the person, we're often
Yeah.
guided with what to say. So we know how to listen, we know how to respond, and
Yes.
energy, spirit shows me personally the area I need to go to, and
True.
so we'll steer it. But this person, it was to do with his ex. She'd gotten with somebody who was very abusive. His children were in the house being abused. He
True.
felt powerless. Yeah. It was a really messy situation, but he was ready to end it. And we had a good chat. And
Great.
it's all about being honest and
Yes.
finding how to heal someone's heart by pulling it out first and then telling them it's okay. They can embrace that feeling in that moment. And he did. We had the biggest cuddle for ages. um, and that was it. But 2 years later, I saw him in Asda with his children. He was
Oh,
His vibrancy was so much higher than when I met him, and it was nice to see he'd from what I understand, he'd gotten custody of his children, and
true.
the reason he was suicidal was healed now, but he didn't need to feel that way in the first place because of
That's
misconception.
that's super fantastic when you see somebody out of that situation and you see the higher energies around you, somewhere you helped somebody and you guided somebody. That's such a delight to even the vision that this is happening in front of us. So, what are the principles of energy healing? Is there any course that you must have joined for learning all this, or was it something that naturally drifted you for getting attracted to energy healing? Or was there a role model in your life who could have taught you that this is it, darling? You need to just help and heal people.
All options actually for me. Um, I've
Wow.
had experience. So what I've learned now, however, is we don't need a piece of paper. We just
Yeah.
we need honesty, trust, and experience. Now,
Yes.
in general, you're not going to hurt somebody by practicing with energy. Okay, you've got a
True.
good intent, your heart's kind, you're fine. Yes, for protection. So it's slightly different, I suppose, in that respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you must have had one kind of a thought when you were an energy healer, or you still are an energy healer, because energy healing goes with life coach as well. And with every profession that you fit into, energy healing is a great concept. So how do people relate to you when you say you are an energy healer? Have you ever tried to, dissolve their myths about how they take energy healing in the modern times? Because it is very different from practicing black magic and all that stuff, because somewhere that's evil. People misuse the energies for their own selfish interests. So, how would you define that as, and how would you feel that there are people who are misusing this kind of an energy? I feel we should enlighten people about the positive sides of the energy healing as well.
Yeah, the most important thing for anybody to realize about energy is it's neither good nor bad. It's indifferent.
Yeah,
It's whoever's harnessing the energy, it's their intent from their heart and their mind that determines what damage or what good it's going to do. And I think this is a massive misconception for so many people. Say I'm an energy healer, I can have people look at me with wide eyes like, what the hell is one of those? They don't know. um so when you explain a bit, they then go to the witchy side. Oh, and then they
yeah,
think you're telepathic. So I always get asked, can you read my mind? What am I thinking? Oh, please don't go into my mind.
true.
Because people are scared of their truth, which is why so
Yeah,
many of us need to heal so deeply, because
yeah,
society teaches to mask over rather than go directly to the root and heal from
true,
within. So,
true. So it's something like in psychology, they say, hypnotism is one thing that people practice clinically. So have you ever thought about hypnosis as a technique in energy healing? Do people feel a kind of a state where they feel hypnotic about their brain, and they feel that they are going into something that they were not? So is their soul feeling relieved after that state where you heal people? We would love to know, the Indian audience would love to know, how do you deal with somebody when they approach you with certain kind of queries in their mindset, whether it's an issue in their life or whether it's a traumatic incident, maybe a car accident or something. It could be this pandemic affecting people, like anxiety attacks or panic attacks. So how can that be helped through energy healing?
well, because energy is so good at getting inside of us, because that's what it's designed to do, it has a way of driving things out of us that need to come out. So when we
Yes,
are in that focused environment where we're safe, the first thing I like people to know is you are safe with me. We are in our own little space. We're secure, we're protected, and we're loved. And
true,
the information stays with me and with the universe. Okay. Um,
true.
so I just think people, if they can accept, it's about opening our minds, I feel,
Oh
to
yes,
accept. Yeah. If we
yes,
can open our minds to accept there is an invisible force that we can't see because its frequency is just too high for our eyesight, and
true.
allow it in. Yeah, we open our hearts, don't we? And when we open our
I,
hearts,
yeah,
we can
I
we
totally
resonate.
agree with you. Yeah, Gemma, I totally agree with you. We have to open our minds, we have to open our hearts, and we have to have that will to connect, because I believe communication is very important, whether it's non-verbal or verbal. So, do you relate to how important communication is? Like, I started this Deep Talks program based for the people who are having honest experiences of their lives, those who can come forward with a lot of courage and confidence to share their life stories and their experiences and talk about those barriers which bind us to not to grow, because we all want to connect to people, we all want to learning is an ever growing process. Do you believe in the same, that learning is an ever growing process and we learn every single moment of our lives? Do you really believe in that? And how far can an energy healer make peace with the kind of situation our generations are facing these days, like the catastrophes, like cyclones are coming and hitting, people are panicking? Instead of talking about the positive aspects of life, they're all so deep down in grief and talking only about negativity and highlighting only negative points in the newspapers and the media.
What a brilliant point. And I think it's fitting to say to that energy goes where our focus goes. So if in our focus we are just seeing natural disasters, we're seeing illness, we're seeing poverty,
Yes,
we don't want to see any of that. Okay. So but by connecting to our spirituality, we can rise above that and we can see through it. So
true.
organic, inorganic, we can see the organic, and if it's not real, then we don't
Yes,
bother with it. So
Yes,
it helps such a lot. But would say meditation would
yes,
be what I'd say that, because when we meditate, people don't understand the power of thought and creation. And when we're meditating, it's pure connection, it's pure
true.
thought, pure love. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and for an example, with the Australian, the fires that there was, and we did the mass meditation, there was a few. The one I
True.
joined in, yeah, we I saw, the hurricane that came in. All of this was
Yes,
in my meditation. So I saw it before it happened. But because we were all synchronized together, we all created that weather to
that vibration.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we
That's
can create,
fantastic.
yeah. I think if people treated the world with meditation on a mass level, this would all
Yes.
go. And I'd love for people to understand and accept that we choose what world we live in. And if we were all open to our spirituality and we all could meditate naturally and feel connected, this world wouldn't be like it is right now.
True, true. So I would love to know from you, Gemma. I believe that the religion is love, unconditional love. So is energy healing dividing people or is it uniting people and not only bringing people into a state of a thought that only from a particular religion can somebody follow the energy healing? Anybody from any religion can join hands. Is that the concept?
Yes. Sorry, my son just came in.
That's okay. That's okay. It's quite
I
natural.
think, yeah, I think the important thing to remember is religion and spirituality, the basis for it is the same. There's our God source, our creator, okay, and one love, unconditional love.
Hi.
um, it's CJ.
That's
Um,
okay.
and when can I go back with that, please? When we can just be unconditional love.
Yeah.
There's no separation. We have no inequality. There's no difference. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all the same. We come from the one source, and we are beings of incredible power that people don't realize because of this.
I totally agree with you on that score. And it's so nice to have your son. I could see your son coming in and saying hi, hello. And that's so natural. A mother who's there giving an interview on Deep Talks and the son coming in and saying hello. That's fantastic because this is something that is so, so natural. And one should respect it because kids, we cannot, just control them because they have their own way of dealing with their life. And it is so good to see kids popping in the window and saying hello because that just sends in a great energy. And being an energy healer, Gemma, I'm so glad that you are sharing this with us because it is something significant. People in India do not talk about healing as often as people from across the globe would love to connect with Indians and others around. Because I believe a lot of superstitious activities are practiced in Indian homes and people don't want to even talk about it, even if they are affected by it. What is your take on working more on the modalities of making a group activity of energy healers surrounding great vibes, which can help every profession in every home to live a better life? Do you think it's a great idea? I believe people should practice once a week going and joining an energy healing group.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I do believe that we should all do that. Um,
Yeah,
because it's one time a week, and it's
yeah,
with people where when we are connecting, especially with meditation. I mean,
yeah,
you know yourself, it's the most wonderful feeling. And I will liken this to sexual energy, and not in a sexual way, but when people
yeah,
have an orgasm, the euphoric energy is so intensely high. We all know that,
true.
oh, lovely feeling, that relaxed state, because we've
Yes,
connected to our soul, pure source, when we are in that state. And meditation is the same state, but from
yeah,
sitting quietly and going within, we can have this state at any second in the day of or night that we want to be in that state. So when we
yes,
merge our spirituality with our physicality, I found since that point where I've sat completely, fully, and I haven't left that area, I'm in
yes.
that state every day. I have to ground so much and carry, like, not just crystals, I carry stones with me.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
because I need earth energy is what we are connected to, and we must keep grounded through our root chakra like that.
True. Gemma, I've heard that, through energy healing, we can repair the damaged cellular structure of the body. So, in your introduction as well, when Srishti pointed this out, I was quite interested and intrigued by the fact that you're doing something that's amazing. I have been myself practicing meditation, and maybe by God's grace, I'm blessed, or maybe I can say my third eye is activated. How one gets to that level is what the Indian audience and others around us would love to know. How well can they meditate, and what are the modalities that you work to damage or to, damage the negative thoughts and repair the cellular structure of the body? So we are in conversation with the lady Jemma Hague from United Kingdom, and make every breath of yours worth it is what I feel. How do you relate to it, and how do you work on these principles to rewire something that's totally damaged?
Well, I'm big one for mindset. Mindset is such a key and fundamental to our overall life. Um, so we have mindset as one. Mindset causes such a vibration, so powerful, and that interacts directly with our heart, emotions,
True.
which directly interact with our belief systems. So we need to look at healing from when we're in the womb onwards. When we're in the womb, we pick up everything in our environment. Our cells get formed by the quality of our mother's nutrition. Okay.
True.
If our mother's stressed, we feel the stress. Our cells get more damage by acidity and lower
Yeah.
vibration. So when we're then out and we have our life, I was blessed. I had an amazing family.
Yeah.
But there were still issues that happened. I was raped when I was 4 years old by a neighbour. So that lowered my vibration considerably at 4 years old. And from 4 years old was when what later got diagnosed as fibromyalgia started.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring in diet now, because diet is what can repair a diet works
Yes.
alongside meditation
True.
and our mind body soul alignment, how connected we are. So these
Yes.
together with our mindset dictate quality of health we have. It
True.
dictates if our cells can currently repair or not.
True.
I mean, there's different levels of repair. I like to do what I call a maintenance level, where I know
Yes.
I'm like, if you feel something off, you hit it straight away with natural. I'll make a lovely natural mix which heightens
True.
vibration. So but
True.
it is
So,
learning how
so
sorry,
basically,
carry
you're
on.
trying to say that you can rewire your mindset with the energies, and you can align your chakras of the body to repair the damage that has happened physically as well.
Yes, along with nutrition, because it won't work without nutrition, not fully.
With
I mean,
nutrition, with nutrition. So
yeah.
you do detoxify your body once a week, or is it something that's a planned program to rewire and detoxify the body to make the energy in line with the positivity? So how do you follow your routine? We would love to know. Is it something that can be given as a tip to the audience who's working hard
Absolutely.
to hear you and to maybe get to your extent? Because the Indians can have a difficult time in just understanding you, but I'm so sure that I can also and you can also relate well to this concept of energy healing, and we can work together in this interview to make sure the public is benefited. So what are the tips that you can give in the diet plan to the audience?
If it's not fresh, don't touch it. If
Yes.
it's not grown from the earth, if it's not water from the earth, then
Yes.
it's poison.
Yes. True.
It's that simple. So I know rice is an issue because the only rice good for us is wild rice. Every
Yes.
other rice causes damage. So, but again, if our diet's quite limited, like mine's quite limited, to be fair, I
True.
mushrooms are staple diet for me.
Yes.
and just like seasonal vegetables and salad, sweet
Great.
potatoes. No, I have
Great.
the normal white potatoes sometimes. Um, I've been
Great.
I've been really bad today. I ate chips today. It's it's
Once a
moderation.
while. Once a while, that's okay. Once a while, that's okay. People eat junk food. Everybody prefers eating snacks, and that's what we are all made of. So we cannot always be good. We all have our bad sides as well. So we just need to improvise each moment. That's what I stated in the beginning. We are all learning, and we need to know where we can improve ourselves to just shine a little more.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, with meditation, with our diet, we can mix meditation where we can't make it perfect, and
True.
the vibration will even it out for us. So,
True.
so
There
it,
is there is definitely a great alignment of the diet plan with meditation and exercise that works, my dear audience. If you're hearing Gemma Hague from United Kingdom, a life coach and a spiritual healer, an energy healer, who's trying to convey to you the ways you can make your life a lot better than what it is now, is by learning something from her, because she has taken her precious time out for us. And I have come to know that she has been on a writing streak for magazines, is writing articles which have gained enormous readers. So we would love to know from Gemma, how did you feel when you write the articles on energy healing, or is it something different that you have picked up for your writings? And how do you connect? Is it through the interviews or through the write-ups only? And it's such an honor to hold you here, because you are conversing with not only me, but with the people who are there and the non-living things as well. Because as an energy healer, living and non-living things, I believe, have energy. Even the room in which I'm conversing would have the energy to connect us and make this conversation a beautiful one. I hope you agree on this, and I would love to know how you picked up writing.
writing again, it's always been a creative outlet for myself personally since being at school. I encourage creativity for expression in ourselves, because when we're creative, we unblock our energy blocks and
Yes.
we can release. So again, cellular repair. Okay, it
True.
helps to that. It aids it. Um, but writing for me is something I can channel my core being through my human emotion and also through my spiritual experience and knowledge of what knowledge I have come to this far spiritual in spirituality. So
Yes.
I, any subject gets me excited where that is concerned. um,
Yeah.
I could write like an excited child, or I could write something very and different styles of English, so it sounds a bit older, more has more
Yes.
etiquette about it and elegant. So it,
That's super. That's super amazing to always use your potential for a larger growth in life. And that's eternal. It walks with you, it's eternal, it remains there. And there can be people who can read those articles and gain a lot of information from what you were doing and how can you improvise others' lives. So Gemma Hague has been doing wonderful work, my dear viewers. The ones who'll be watching this conversation, I'm sure you will be delighted to have the tips that she's offering as an energy healer, and you would love to join her group as well. So you can connect to me, and also we would love to know from Gemma Hague that she has a feather to her cap by being an animal communicator, and I much appreciate it for her being an animal communicator. So Gemma, I would love to know, and the audience would love to know, how it is being an animal communicator, and why do you prefer animals as one, the subject that is animals, because this is something that's significant where people try to harm animals. We are trying to learn how to protect them, and also it is our duty and responsibility to keep the environment safe and secure. So how would you relate to your experience as an animal communicator, and what makes you be an animal communicator?
okay, animals are so pure and innocent. They never leave their unconditional love, even when they are so battered and bruised. Their
True,
souls, they remember every life they have had in reincarnation.
true.
So when we're healing an animal, it's so much different to a human. It's so much lighter, and that's when I found out I could communicate, because I've always just naturally healed since about 8 years old, and I've noticed horses responding to my thoughts. I've noticed myself have thoughts. I've noticed pain in my body where the horse was suffering, and that's when I was 13 when I realised that I could pick up pain and thought from a horse. I didn't
Yes,
take it further though. Yeah, I was in my 20s when I was told I should be doing it as a career.
true.
Um, so I practiced myself privately with my own
Okay.
animals, friend animals, and with the healing that just got better and better. And the communication from energy
Yes,
was just, you can read it like a book when you're with an animal. It's so expressional. It's brilliant. Um,
yes.
so then 2 years ago, I eventually became an animal communicator. I went on a course with
Fantastic.
a man called Richard Geldard. He's amazing, global animal communicator. Yeah, colleague and friend. He's taught me to let go of my chains, and he taught me to trust myself. Um,
Yes,
can you relate? When we trust us, it's hard to trust
yes.
some.
I totally can relate to it because I feel that we learn a lot, not only from humans, but animals have their own instincts working so much better than humans can. They're so loyal and they're so dedicated to what they do. In a way, we need to learn from them and we need to protect them. We all need love and they also need love. So my your viewers who are watching us, I'm sure you'll be learning this, that it's not only her, she's practicing as an animal communicator. It's even in your blood that you can do it and you can preserve the environment that you're staying in. Because whatever's happening in the nature, it's right up there for you to see what's happening to this world. So we need to make every place where we stay neat, clean, and green, and also protect animals. And if you can, there is nothing like it. There is a quote which I usually share on my show. So today I'm sharing sip your experiences with the delight of sharing. I believe in sharing. So Gemma, I'm sure that as an energy healer, you have the first principle of confidentiality. If someone comes to you and shares personal information, you keep it to yourself. So, being as a psychologist, I also practice the same. Do you think our country needs more energy healers and the respect for energy healers to grow and bring results for a global success, for the economy and for the well being of the whole globe?
Yes, absolutely. I think especially if people want to say goodbye to hospitals as well, then people should support this. In the sense of being open to it, trying it for themselves. We can't. It's good to be skeptical, but we must not judge. We must not preempt something we have no information about. I like to
True.
experience something and then make my
Yes.
own mind up through careful consideration. But if people did follow this path and allowed more energy healers and became in tune and knew how to heal others, heal themselves, then we'd all be
True.
very self sufficient. We'd all be very happy. We'd all
Yes.
resonate with unconditional love every single day. And we'd all be
That.
so much more equal and respectful of each other. Um, that
It's
love
amazing.
energy would just, yeah.
Yeah, it's deep rooted, and what a wonderful conversation I'm having with Gemma Hague on this show. Not only a quote, but a deep tip from my side. Cleaning the inner self of unwanted thoughts and feelings, my dear friends, would reduce the negative effects and increase the positive vibrations. Is something that I want to share on this show with you. As always, I share a quote by myself and a deep tip. So this is what we are talking about. We're talking about the energy healing, the cleaning, and it's good to be positive amidst this pandemic where people are dying of this deadly virus. We are here to bring peace, unconditional love, and more of positive vibrations across the souls who are waiting for a ray of hope and the love and the light. I am very grateful for people who are watching and the ones who will be watching later. because I feel when we share is the time that we care for each other, because we all are moving together and we build on equality and unconditional love. So I would love to say thanks for sharing your thoughts, commenting, loving, and liking our conversations. You please stay connected to Deep Talks, because we are in conversation with a wonderful soul who's just here to make us feel much better, brighter, and best. So Miss Gurleen also wants to state this, that she wants to instill confidence to communicate and channelize the energies in yourself for good. Make every breath of yours worth it. So in connection with Jemma Hague, I would love you to just state one fact of your life where you felt that you had lost it and you had no hope left to live better. But you found a ray of hope and you stuck to it and you made it happen. Our audience would love to know that one fact or that one experience where you worked it up and you made it happen.
The end of my last relationship, February 2018. At that point, I thought my soul was dying. I felt being sucked out, and I made a choice. And I said, it's now or never, do or die. You've got to cut this energy. It's no good for anyone. My children were miserable. My partner was so depressed. We were going to be on the street. It was a bad situation. But I made that choice, and I've worked my ass off ever since. Every day, I've never looked back. Only with a telescope to go, whoa, come far.
True. That demands a lot of courage and confidence, my dear lady. You have done wonderful, and you're doing amazing by healing people. It's not just an honest confession, it's about your story of life that people would be listening to. And I'm so honored and glad that you are sharing it on Deep Talks with everybody, because it needs a lot of courage. And there comes your toddler waiting for this show to end, probably because he wants the mother's love as well. So I would love to, yeah. So I would love you to share a message to the audience who is watching and one who is watching, a message to the host, so that it is appreciated not only by me as much as it could be appreciated by the ones who will be watching the show and the conversation. Because a mother who's trying to connect to people all across, it's wonderful. It's just amazing to know you, Jemma, and amazing souls connected to you like Lindsay, Camilla, all others who will be just happy to see this conversation later and enjoy that you have not only accelerated your life for progress, but you have been an inspiration to those women who were stuck up somewhere, and you gave a ray of hope not only to women but to all of the people whom you met in your life. So one message that you can, in your words, convey to the audience and you would love to convey.
Never hide your truth. Always be authentic. We have to speak the truth of our hearts, the truth in our mind, but the truth in our stomach. We have to listen. If we want to be healed, if we want the best world for people to live in, never lie, always be truthful. And you find life works. Life does this. Life flows. Everything's easy. Challenges, they do not make you depressed. You're still smiling. They're exciting. They're not bad anymore. They're exciting. But by speaking our truth, we set ourselves free. And people need to understand freedom comes from truth. And that is an unconditional love. Anything less won't do.
That's fantastic and superbly wrapped up by Jemma Hague from United Kingdom. She's a spiritual coach and a life coach who's healing many souls. And not only has she healed many souls, but the host of the show today, Deep Talks, is actually feeling very delighted to host Jemma Hague from the United Kingdom. I would love to say a toast to the COVID warriors, myself being one. I would love to also state this, that don't take this deadly disease as a joke. It is something that's very serious, has turned into a pandemic. So let's stay safe, stay mentally and physically fit. And also, I would love to say India is great. We are doing great, and we would love to meet our friends across the globe and form even more greater connects. So Jemma, it was wonderful having you on my show. And it is indeed amazing if you would be sharing this with others who can follow in and be on the love seat and encourage all those who are fighting this pandemic, including me, and doing well in life. And we would love to stay connected with you in the future, and we would love to see you smiling and doing wonderful work in the future. It was fantastic to have you. Jai
Thank
Hind.
you so much for bringing me on. It's been wonderful to speak with you. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless.